Hey, undefeated. Not bad. I get it's only preseason, but don't forget,
you play to win the game.
Big Deke News. What I thought I'd do for today's show is just tie up any loose ends from the Steelers' Saturday victory over the Buffalo Bills. Final score 27-15. Steeler Nation, we got a new cigar pack that's available at your local get-go. Called the Bills Pack. First, I was right. The switch-up's already happening from the fake news, lamestream media. Everyone's now considering the Steelers a lock to make the playoffs and are going to be contenders in the AFC. It's like, dude, just give me a break. Keep that same energy you were talking all offseason. Why did it all of a sudden just take 2 good preseason games from the Steelers for you to have this switch up? Because that's what all these analysts are doing now. Like, they're like, oh, watch out for the Steelers. Sleeper team. They're creating some buzz, this and that. I and all of us have been trying to say that this whole goddamn time. Like, there's a reason we finished last season 7-2 and that the Buffalo Bills didn't want that smoke in the wild card. They're lucky we didn't make the playoffs because they would have been out 1 round sooner than what they were. And then in the offseason, all we've done is made awesome free agency moves, make awesome draft picks. You couldn't see like, oh, look, that team last year, they were supposedly in a rebuild mode. They were going through some questions at quarterback, Mitch to Kenny. That team finished 9-8, and all they've done is improved pretty much every facet of the roster along the way. And all those young guys from the rebuild season are only going to be getting 1 year older. So, like, why wouldn't you think that team is going to be good for 2023? But I guess it took a couple touchdowns and a couple good defensive plays in preseason games for them to actually come to their senses. I ain't about that. I already told you the bandwagon's closed. Keep that same energy. Also, I'm glad I remember this during Saturday's game, but Tomlin completed the Family Infinity Gauntlet. Let's not forget. I think we're underestimating the power that it could bring. Just look at what happened against the Bills. JPJ, interception. Nick Herbig, sack, forced fumble. Jaylen Warren, 60-plus yard touchdown.
Pressure, throws.
Don't blink because with just a snap of a finger, Tomlin's going to be having the Steelers playing down in Vegas on February 11th.
Reality can be whatever I want.
And then finally, the RB1 debate. I feel like that chatter's still going on a little bit. Jaylen Warren versus Najee Harris, who should be the Steelers starting running back. And this all came after, obviously, Jaylen Warren took one to the house for 60-plus yards against the Bills on Saturday. And I get it. Like, I'm a Jaylen Warren guy. I'm a fan of Jaylen Warren's game. I think he should be out on the field more. But I don't think it should come at the expense of disrespect toward Najee Harris because he's damn good in his own right. He brings his own element to the offense. Dude had back-to-back 1,000-yard years in his first 2 seasons with a subpar O-line for about 75% of it. O-line obviously improved second half of last year, and you saw Najee Harris healthy, putting together pretty much a top 10 running back second half of the season. I mean, it might even been top 5. You extrapolate his stats from the bye on, he was on pace for like 1,200 yards and I think like 300 or 400 receiving yards, like a really good season. So Najee Harris still is important to this offense. I feel like the conversation has gotten to a point, though, where you have people either overly sensitive about Najee Harris and they think he's way better than Jaylen Warren and it shouldn't even be a conversation. Or you have people saying Najee Harris just flat out sucks and Jaylen Warren should hands down be the starter. How about it's just both running backs are good. Both running backs are going to be important to this team. And both bring a little bit of a different element of what we're looking for. That Jaylen Warren is really good. Najee Harris is really good. And it's a great problem to have.
The different aspect, it's kind of like thunder and lightning with him and Najee. You know, I think those two have a really good balance off each other. They both do great things. They both do things differently. And it's great to kind of have that combination in the backfield.
So for me, I'm already tired of the conversation. And I did bring it up after Saturday night's game. Just because Jaylen Warren deserves his props. Like, I do think he deserves more snaps, but I don't think he should automatically be the starting running back over Najee Harris. I mean, if you told me it was 50-50, I wouldn't even be opposed to that. But just to say Jaylen Warren now should get 70%, 80%, and Najee Harris is now the backup, It's just kind of ridiculous. So I'm already over to the conversation, and actually it feels like Najee Harris is too. This is his reaction when Jaylen Warren was brought up in the locker room post game.
What do you like when you see Jaylen get the ball?
I mean, yeah, he's a good player, man. So I mean, I guess efficiency. I don't know. I don't have to.
He gets a hole. I mean, he always says, "You see it," and I hit.
Yeah.
But I believe that is it for today's Big Deke News. Like I said, just wanted to tie up some loose ends from Saturday's game, give a final recap, because I did do the Saturday night post-game report over at Bleach Report, so shout out to any of you guys that stopped over on the live, and also even if you checked out the repost that I put on the YouTube channel. Really appreciate that. A little bit of a different format, but if you want to dig a little bit deeper, maybe you could go back and check that out, because I went over a lot more players, like a lot more detail. It was like 30, 35 minutes long. And actually, I will be doing another one over on Bleach Report tomorrow, 4 o'clock. We're going over 53-man roster projections. So if you want, stop over in the live, get together who you think is going to be cut, who's on the border, who makes the team, and we could chop it up over there tomorrow evening. But that is it for today's Big Deke News. Hope you enjoyed. Again, stay chilling and peace.